Okay, so we're gonna study the principle of creation from the beginning, trying to go deeper so that we can gain something in our life of faith too. Okay, so this is a very beginning of the creation in the divine principle. Okay, throughout history, people have anguished over the fundamental question of human life and the universe without arriving at satisfying answers. This is because no one has understood the root principle by which humanity and the universe were originally created. And to approach this topic properly, it is not enough to examine resultant reality. So the fundamental question is that of the causal reality. So if we do not go to the causal reality, then we can't really reach the ultimate solution or answer for the fundamental questions. I hope this makes sense. And problems centering human life and the universe cannot be solved without first understanding the nature of God. So causal reality is basically God, creator God. So without understanding the first cause, which is God, then we can't really reach the ultimate answer of the many questions we have. So, but actually, we are going to come back here toward the end. Um, Hopefully, like we can understand what this part of the principle is saying, right? Okay. Um, so the beginning, dual characteristics of internal nature and external form. So today it's a part one of this one. Okay. So how can we know the divine nature of the invisible God? One way to fathom his deity is by observing the universe which he created. Yes. Just as a work of art displays the invisible nature of its maker in a concrete form, everything in the created universe is a substantial manifestation of some quality of the Creator's invisible divine nature. Like this, right? So artist, this was talking about the artist, artist work of art displays the invisible nature of its maker. So, that's if somebody or some artist makes some works, then this works reflects the artist's invisible nature, right? That's obvious, pretty much probably. That's why when we look at their works, like painting or music or whatever they make, then through the observing their painting and or through their listening their music, then you may kind of understand what kind of person is the artist, so that's kind of natural thing, right? So every artist makes different kind of the works because each individual artist is different. All right, so that's the same kind of relationship is here, God and creation. If God created the universe and then this creation, we can see this nature or human being or whatever. Okay, if God is the creator of all those, then this creation must be reflecting their God's invisible nature, right? So that's that's I think it's not so difficult, to see it, this relationship. So, that this artist and works and God and creation, the relationship is like cause and effect. So God is the cause, you know. Then his creation should be reflecting the God's internal nature or deity, eternal nature of God. So Romans 1:20. So it says, ever since the creation of the world, his invisible nature, namely his eternal power and deity, has been clearly perceived in the things that have been made. So they are without excuse, right? So the Pope, this is a Saint Paul, the Saint Paul's word. So Saint Paul said, so God's deity, God's eternal power and deity has been clearly perceived in the things that have been made, right? The creation. When you look at the creation, then you see the God's nature, eternal power and deity, right? Even that is invisible, we may understand it through his visible creation, right? So, and one of the those God's deity or nature of God is this. We call dual characteristics. Dual characteristics of internal nature, internal character, and external form. So, as you know, we have another one more dual characteristics, but we're going to focus on this one today. Dual characteristics of internal character and external form. Right, so that is this one. When we look at the nature, when we look at the creation, right, so we see that every being, all beings have internal character and external form. So I believe you had this so many times, right? But that's let's see. Humans have their mind, body, and animals also mind and the body. Internal nature is mind. Plants has their plant's mind, or each plant has its own unique characteristics, right? So that's that's an internal part of their plants. External form, every plant has a different kind of forms, and that made up by cells, right? But they have their own unique internal character or tendency or whatever. That's internal part is right there. Then when molecules and atoms and particles are same, so they have some kind of internal part, like this is a crystal, right? Then why this crystal has this kind of shape? That's because this crystal, that kind of matter, crystal itself has some kind of internal, physiochemical nature or character. That's why that become like this, right? So that's we call that inherent nature in it. Every being, even the smallest thing, molecules, atoms, the particles, they have some kind of inherent nature in it. That's why each atom has a different kind of nature, right? That's the each different kind of atoms has a different kind of nature. So the character, or how do you call it? But that's the thing. So there is everything has the internal aspect and the external aspect of that being. Okay, so we see that in in this universe, everywhere, no matter where you go, everything has their internal nature and the external form, right? So that's why we see, if there is a first cause, then that first cause also should have those internal character and external form. Then a universe, that this is the expression or the visible manifestation or substantial manifestation of this the nature of the first cause, right? That is the universe. So we see in the universe, every being has this dual characteristics. Why? Because the first cause, which is God has the dual characteristics, right? So that's that's what the divine principle is saying. All right. So same thing, but let's talk about let's kind of a little bit go deeper, right, in this relationship. So cause and effect, artist and works, right? So then same thing, this is a cause, first cause, and this is the effect. So that the universe. Okay, look at this. Because of the design or blueprints of artists, their works are substantiated. So that's the artist, he planned when artist makes works or something, right? Then so he has, based on his desire or based on his nature, then also he has the idea what kind of things he wants to create, right? Every artist, right? Then they have a blueprint. What this kind of things I want to create. Then so he wants to express something through the works. Yeah. So that's what the artist is doing. So that is a relationship between artist and the works. So artist has a blueprint, or some kind of like the idea, design, we may say. Then the result is this works, right? So that's a relationship between artist and works. So what about this one? So this, that this, okay, actually this is a cup. This is a coffee cup. Who made this? Anyway, I don't know. It's yeah. So I have this cup, some of my friend made this, and I got it because I thought this is so interesting. But okay, but the point is, maybe this is reflecting that art. She's an artist, so her kind of internal nature. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, should be so, right? But no, who make this one anyway? Okay, so now, so this is some expression of the internal nature of the artist, right? So, but not only that, so she has some kind of design in her, right? Blueprints, what kind of things she wants to make. Then also this, came up, right? So this, like because of the artist blueprints or design, then this is existing. This became like this, right? So without the design, without the blueprints, then this doesn't come up. I mean, even though there are like a craze somewhere, then this material thing is here, might be there or here, or I don't know, but this doesn't come up by accident, right? Don't you think if you wait maybe like the 100 million years, then somehow there's some possibility that those like things somehow come up and then make this kind of things? Basically the almost 0%, right? No matter how long you wait, then this doesn't come out unless like somebody make it, some kind of very I don't know, complicated or what, some kind they have to go through, that artists need to go through some process to make it, then this this is existing right now because of the artist has the blueprint and idea, then all kinds of like things we make, that's the same thing, cars and pizza or iPhone or whatever, right? So these things never come out, accidentally, right? Even the simple thing, pizza, even this is maybe simple, much simpler than the cars and the iPhone, right? This is pizza is simple, but this doesn't come out by accident, right? So that's somebody has to make it with their idea, you know. So that's the point. So that is the internal part of this existing. So this, what is this internal character? This cup has an internal character. Yes, this cup has this cup's internal character or internal aspect is the design of the creator, design of the maker. That is in it, right? Without that, this is, this doesn't exist. Then those things, of course, can't be separated. So then these things too. What's the internal part? Internal part is make us the design. Without somebody make the blueprints, then this doesn't exist, right? Somebody has to have their blueprints, how to make it, what kind of things he or she wants to make. So that's an important internal part. Yeah. So then, like that. That's in the man's creations, like the cups and the cars and iPhone, pizza, curry rice, that's those things. That's always somebody's design there, So then the same thing. So if God created everything, if God is a creator, the reason why things are like this, trees and the mountains and stars and the earth, right? So that's not by accident. There is some kind of design or blueprints in it. Without the blueprints, then that this kind of things doesn't come out. Maybe some people say this is, by accident, right? By accident, the billions of years, and some accidental things happen here and there, and eventually this somehow the roads became this beautiful. When you look at these roads, this is amazing thing. Then if you think, some by accident, this kind of things come up, and that's kind of almost ridiculous to me. This is amazing artwork, right? It's so beautiful. How come so beautiful? How come this color is so beautiful, and then the shape amazing? That's how can this come out by accident, right? There is some kind of amazing artist somewhere, then make it. So that's the only possibility to me. So okay, then look at this one. Amazing. Okay, maybe this naturally by accident, something happened for a long time. Then why this became so amazing and beautiful? That's the why we are so impressed by this. And then many people fear God. Oh my God, God exists. So right, because this is way beyond the human creation, right? This is the more amazing than the iPhone. This is so amazing, right? Just like that, these beautiful things come up by accident, So that's a thing. So like we need to think. What about this like a nice nature too? Why color is like this? Why we can see this color and this shape, and why we are so comforted by this beauty? So that's is that just the accident? So that's a thing. So like we need to kind of think, right? So this is a word from the Thomas Edison, right? Do you know this guy, right? That's inventor, the genius guy, right? So he said like this. So too many people have a microscopic idea of the creator. If they would only study his wonderful works, as shown in natural herself, nature herself, and the natural laws of the universe, they would have a much broader idea of the great engineer, right? So his wonderful work, God's wonderful works. Yeah. So indeed, I can almost prove God's existence by chemistry. One thing is certain: the universe is permeated by intelligence, blueprints, or the design. Somebody very intelligent person, planet, right? So that's how this entire amazing universe came about. I tell you, no person can be brought into close contact with the mysteries of nature or make a study of chemistry without being convinced that behind all there is a supreme intelligence. So that's scientist. He is very smart, right? And very substantial person who create incredible things, right? So he could see when he study or look at the universe, study the chemistry, and that's amazing intelligence is behind, right? So that's true, right? When you even look at their rose, beautiful flower, so that's, if anybody think that's come out by chance, I know, that's no, that no, right? No, like that's some kind of incredible supreme intelligence behind how the universe is working, how the sun and earth is working, how the air and things are living, and the plants and producing their CO2, and the human, not the CO2, getting a CO2 and producing the oxygen. Then we get the oxygen and the living, and all those kind of things. Amazing, right? That's how this is, how it is possible. Okay, yeah, this is the universe, this the what the galaxy. Oh my God, what's happening. Human being is in this. Maybe you don't want to see this inside, but so amazing. This is the way. Amazing human being. Human being so amazing, don't you think? This is incredible, right? That's the rose, so beautiful. But human beings maybe million times more amazing. All right. So that's that the human being. So how is this possible? Look at the eye. This why I'm showing this eye, because true father Lebanon Moon was talking about the eye. Human eyes, amazing. Okay, so this is what he said. When eye is formed, can the eye itself be created that way by saying, I want to be like this? I mean, he's like talking that this way. I will have to I will have to rotate. I will have to be installed inside my blinking eyelids. I will have to water and moisten them. There is dust in the air, so I will have to make a screen here with my eyebrows. Was I born with these thoughts in mind? Judging by the presence of eyelashes, do they appear knowing that there is air or no air in this world? So father is saying, I knew about it, what kind, this kind of things. That the conclusion is that the I itself must have already known this and created it like that. It must understand that already when it was born as an I, it was born knowing that there was dust in the air of this universe. Did it know or not know that there are wind or dust? Was the I itself born knowing or born not knowing? It was created without knowing it, but somebody on his own knew that and created it like that to protect the I itself. And knowing that water vapor is evaporated by the radiant heat generated on this earth, someone put in place a device to protect it. Then can the eye itself know it? Know it? Did the eyes themselves know? They didn't know. Therefore, it is possible to Father logically that there existed the background idea with this cosmic knowledge, cosmic knowledge before the appearance of the eye, right? So that's the Father is trying to illustrate this amazing function we have with our eyes, then before I was created, or if before I, human being, emerged on this earth, why it is so perfectly, that know everything, what kind of place humans are going to live, right? The dust, and then the water will be evaporated, and how then we can protect our eyes from the dust or wind or the water evaporating, then how keep the moisture in the eyes, right? Then in order to create eye like that, then you should know that the before the emergence of the human eyes, then they should know that what kind of environment the human are going to live, so that how that's possible, just by chance, then the things, this kind of things happened without any purpose, and that's just happened to be like that, right? So that's what your Father is saying. That's amazing function that somebody should know before the creation. I mean, we create, you know, before the emergence of human was born with eyes from the beginning, then the eyes was start the growing in the mother's womb before they know, I mean, before they come out on this earth. But when they come out, then they know what kind of world is this, right? I mean, how that happened? How that happened? What kind of things we eat and digest, and just circulate things, everything. This the how that is possible, right? So that that's of course this is not like we can prove their God's existence, but that is Father said it is possible to Father logically that there existed the background idea with this cosmic knowledge before the appearance of the eye. So this kind of things. So that should be some kind of amazing intelligence behind, Otherwise, this is impossible, right? So that's what the true Father is saying. That's impossible. So that's God's design. Why so amazing? Why, not only human being, everything so amazingly existing harmoniously in this world, then not only eyes, what about our entire body functioning, So that's the how, right? So that's we need to, basically it is so reasonable because there is some kind of blueprints for the entire world, and that we are living in that world. God knows, God has a vision or design, what kind of world he wanted to create and what kind of earth. This is the human beings are living in this earth, beautiful. Then we have some kind of the sense to see the beauty of the nature. We can enjoy the nature, then we can comfortably live, the breathing the air, and enjoying the beauty, and we can eat a nice food, right? So all those things, that's how so amazingly working together in this universe, right? So that should be that there, because God designed it. God has a vision for that, right? Otherwise, how this amazing being existing, even that we look at their rose, wow, that's the starting with the seed. How does that the small seed knows what kind of things so he is going to be? Well, then they know the rose, the sunflowers, the seed knows they are the sunflowers, and the rose, the goes Rose grows up as a rose, you know. Then the dog that they grow up as a dog, you know, they know they are dog from the beginning. Anyway, so you know that's a human being. How can we? I mean, that's the millions of times more complicated than the rose. You know, human being. This is amazing. The being here, you know, how that we are existing like this. You know, that's some God's design, some supreme intelligence, amazing God's, you know, plan is there, must be so, right? So, you know, that's the thing. That is you know, that is internal nature here. That the God's design is every being has the God's design in it. You know, that's God's hand is in it. Otherwise, no, doesn't make sense. All right. So now, so evolution or creation. I don't know if you are interested in or not. You know, but things emerged from the simplest ones to more complicated ones step by step, right? That is the actual maybe truth historically. You know, in the beginning, there was just simple things, you know, but then gradually more complicated things emerged, and then we may say that is evolution, right? So but when we think about it, that's how that happened. How this kind of human being that from simple things then just by chance then the human being emerged by chance or out of nowhere without any purpose, right? That is almost incredibly impossible anyway. You know, then some people said that, you know, some people said God is invisible, then you believe in God, and that's a faith, you know, how can you believe God, right? But somebody said, if you don't believe in God, then how can the human being like this, how the entire world is like this? Like Edison said, you know, if you don't believe in God, then that happened by chance. That is that's a deep faith. I mean, faith in the atheism. That faith is maybe stronger than the Christians, right? How can you believe and everything happened by chance, accidentally, right? That's also unbelievable thing, you know. So okay, so like our position is those in the evolution, you know, that time wise, you know, more complicated things emerged, you know, step by step. That is all happened by the design of God, right? That's a design of God. Otherwise can't explain, right? This is some kind of natural law here. If there is no direction and force in it, the things will fall apart by time. If time goes, then the complicated things became simple, you know, collapsing, right? That the human body, if we die, then this, how do you call it? They dissolve, the fall apart, they're coming back to their soil, right? Then the house is a pretty good house you have, but that after 100 years, then the house will collapse, you know, that's a natural. So then how can we, like the more complicated things emerge, you know, that because there is some kind of force with their direction. Without that, then you know that the simple things to the simple thing can grow to the more complicated thing that is impossible without the direction and the force. The force with the direction or energy with the direction, you know. They know how that kind of the direction and the energy comes from something. God had a design that give their direction, blueprints. This is a goal, you know. So that's happened, right? So that is the only thing, you know, that we can make sense the development of this universe and the eventually human being emerged. You know? So evolution created or caused by design of God. So that's how we see. You know, some people said, you know, that some people believe in the evolution without God, some kind of the cause or competition or environmental reason, then the things developed, then eventually human being emerged, and the human beings is just, that we could survive because we are kind of fit to the world, all kind of like a theory they make, right? But that's really doesn't make so much sense. Okay. So, believe in God. Some people said, not scientific, but actually it's not like that. If you think about what's going on in the universe, how complicated the human beings are, so the possibility of the existence of God is not strange, not logical, that is, I think, the very rational too, you know. So okay, that's why Edison or Newton or those people, so they kind of think that God exists, supreme intelligence or supreme kind of spiritual source there, All right. So that's how we see. So then, if so, everything exists by God's design, right? Everything. Then the point is me too. I am not just existing by chance or by accident. It's I'm not here. I'm not here randomly, without any purpose, just by accident. I'm existing here. No, I don't think so. Like everything else, like the existence of human beings, my own existence as a human being, that there is a reason. Without some design, without their God's idea or blueprints, I don't exist here. There is some my most internal reason of my existence is in me. Then that is the God's design. That is the God's desire is in me. There is some very good, clear purpose, and the purpose and the design in me that is coming from God, right? So I think that is so important, right? There is a clear design or purpose for my existence and the universe too. That's very important. I'm not just randomly existing here. So I am a result of somebody's design, somebody's desire, right? That's why I am existing right now. Without nobody can take that my most internal part. Most internal part is somebody wants me to exist. That's why I'm existing, right? So that's why I'm living. That's I think that's important thing. In order to understand my purpose of existence or my true value, I need to know God, the Creator. So right, if we are existing like that, with God's desire, or without God, then it doesn't make sense. Like this kind of amazing being, like a human being, existing in this amazing universe, right? So then that means like that we have a clear desire, clear design, which was from God. So then in that case, right, if we do not know it, then how can we know my true purpose of existence? How can we know my true value? How can we know my true purpose of existing without knowing the origin of my existence? Right? So, that's why the divine principle said in the beginning, like this. Throughout the history, people have anguished over the fundamental question of human life and the universe. Fundamental question, what is my body? Where is my body? What is my existence? What is the purpose of my existence, right? Nobody knew. Nobody arrived at satisfying answers. Yeah, this is because the divine principle said no one has understood the root principle. That is the design, God's desire what kind of world he wanted to create, why he created this universe, why he created the human beings, So that's the fundamental root principle, right? So that without knowing it, we don't reach the answer. Yeah, to approach this topic properly, it is not enough to examine resultant reality. Yeah, yeah. So we need to know that our internal reality, the design, our internal part. The fundamental question is that of the causal reality, God. Problems concerning human life and the universe cannot be solved without first understanding the nature of God. So you see, like, you may be struggling, or we human beings are struggling. Then why is that, why we have to live like this, and why we are struggling? We want to be happy, then why we can't be happy? All those problems, that's without understanding the origin, we can't solve it. When you want to fix the car, somebody who knows the car, that's then what's the purpose and the design and the blueprint of the car. When we understand it, then you can fix it if there is a problem, so that maybe, we are not a car, more complicated, the more, sophisticated being, but we are result of their God's design, God's desire. If we want to understand myself, if we want to understand ourselves as a human being, why we are living here, why I have a life, why I am living, when we have, that's a natural question, am I worthy to live in this human society? Natural question, but that we need to go back to God, because God is the source of my existence. God has some clear purpose of creating us, right? In that case, we need to know God. Without knowing God, then we cannot solve the problem. We cannot really understand myself, because God is the source of myself, right? So that's a really important relationship there. Everything has their mind and body, internal nature, external form. Then those things cannot be separated. Right? Cannot be separated. Then if God designs in me, we cannot ignore it. We need to know it, right? We need to know it. I think that is very important. We need to know it. So then here, the Mother Moon said, right? We need to know the essence of God, who is the creator and our heavenly parent. That is a really important thing. We need to know the essence of God, because God is my source, my source, the source of my life, source of my life, existence, joy. That's God, right? That's why we need to know God. We need to know God. If we do not know God, then you don't find yourself, right? That's a reality. If we do not know God, then you can know yourself. That's why the true mother said, you should know the essence of God, who is our heavenly parent. That makes sense, right? So that's why we need to study the principle of creation more deeply. So I hope, so we dig into the creation step by step, then as we do it, then we understand God. If we understand God, then we can understand the universe more. Then most importantly, we can understand myself very clearly, and we know how we should live, and what is our purpose of living right now, right? So so now anyway, that is our true mother's suggestion or direction, if you say. Let's know God, understand God, right? All right, that is it today.